I just received my first reprimand from the colonel for not starting on time. 25 lashes. Welcome again, and thanks for coming. Here we go again, and let me just go through the meeting format real quickly. You guys know the drill. Cell phones on vibrate or silence, please. The meeting format will have the presentation followed by the question and answer period. We'll try to keep it to an hour once again and cut those questions off at 7. If indeed you do have an additional question, please come forward, and as we move throughout the building, or if you would like to take a look at some of the maps that we have down here, we can do that. So don't be shy. So with that, let's get started. Incident Commander Greg Ponson.
Thank you. And Tarina said, well, the reason that we weren't starting on time, she was waiting for more people to show up. We have a few more empty seats tonight, and we suspect maybe because of the TV and internet coverage, maybe everybody's choosing to stay home. I don't know. But anyway, we're glad that you're here, and I'm glad that I have some actually pretty good news to share with you, and you probably can see that just by looking up on the hill. Didn't really want to move too much today, a little bit on the backside, and you've been probably watching that fire up there on the top of Carr Canyon, kind of up in that campground area, starting to heat up a little bit. But I thought what we'd do is start with a kind of a general overview again. If you guys don't mind, we'll do a little bit of a fly around, and I'll kind of give you a narrative to kind of show you what we're looking at here. So we're going to go ahead and start down on the southwest corner there. We're looking along the U.S.-Mexico border, flying counterclockwise. So this is that kind of that cold part of the fire, and this is all really light fuels and has been dead for some time. And this area that we're looking at now is we're counting as entirely contained. This is part of that percentage. We're swinging around looking at, here's the Incident Command Post and Highway 92 right here. And coming into Ash Canyon and then Stump Canyon right here. And Miller Canyon right here. Okay, this was what we're calling the Father's Day slop over. And of course that's Hereford Road. Okay, coming north, this is the Garden Fire up here. Ramsey Canyon Road. And this part here is what we accomplished last night in our burnout. Okay, swinging through, looking in Ramsey, and then this is Carr Canyon right here. And of course, this road that accesses that campground up where that fire is burning today, and Miller Peak right up here. Okay, on the backside, Blind Canyon, it's been kicking up some pretty good smoke in there, but we've been flying some aircraft to kind of keep that in check so as to not risk it coming over the backside and establishing in Ramsey. And here we're looking kind of at that Montezuma Pass area right now, back around. This is all the Coronado Memorial Park, of course. And again, most of this stuff around this black edge is really cold and looking good. In fact, we're starting to do some of the rehab work to get that ready to pull back and turn it back to the Park Service down there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull in. We'll look at specifically Carr Canyon and Ramsey and some of that Garden Canyon area, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the next 72 hours. Yesterday, you probably heard us talk about this notion of building the catcher's mitt. We're trying to be proactive in burning from some of these control lines there to extend it a quarter to a half a mile in to really buffer that thing in the event that the winds push that out toward these residences there on the edge of Sierra Vista in that Ramsey Canyon area. Okay. So again, here is some of the Garden Valley or the Garden Fire. Ramsey Canyon, the fire edge here is in Carr. What we're endeavoring to do, this is kind of an awkward angle to be looking at this, is, let's see, can you move that up just a little bit so we can see where Ramsey Road, there you go. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to be doing tonight is completing this burnout, connecting what we did last night across into this fire edge here in Carr Canyon. And that, again, is going to be this big buffer to seal up this edge if the fire gets established and wants to push out. So the big catcher's mitt is what we're calling this. In Ramsey Canyon, of course, there's still structures up there that we're going to have to deal with, and that's going to be what we are going to be engaged in the next day or two. We've already got control lines in there, and we're going to continue prepping that, and then either tomorrow night or the next night, depending on the weather conditions and how that prep work goes tomorrow, look at putting some fire in the ground to kind of keep a low intensity burn down through the structures right in the center of Ramsey Canyon, and connect this over to the fire edge on the bottom, and what we're calling the Carr Canyon Reef, that big rock reef that you can see looking up into there. We're going to try and check that fire right at the base of that. So we're going to kind of contain that thing on the south side of Ramsey Canyon. Okay? The other really important piece of work we're going to start is carrying the fire around up into the Garden Canyon to extend that catcher's mitt across the west and literally turn the corner on that part of the fire to really secure that edge so that it has no chance of coming out. And the payoff there is, again, within 72 hours, we should, by that time, have removed the risk to the residents, not only in this area down here, but also up toward the fort. And that's our primary objective here, is to take the threat out of this fire to the human life and property that's in its path. Okay? That's our plan. We think we have an excellent chance. You probably saw the burning last night. You're going to see a lot more tonight. And I think, we're going to, with your cooperation, and I know this evacuation is a difficult thing, but that is the best available plan right now. Now, I also want to share with you another important piece of work we're going to be doing tomorrow. And most of you are probably aware of the Carr Canyon campground and the road that goes up to kind of where that fire is burning up, kind of in that bowl up there. We're going to be sending some folks up there tomorrow to do some scouting to see if, based on the fact that fire isn't going to really want to move for a few days in there, what is the opportunity for us to send some crews in there and go direct on that piece and tie it into some of the rock up on top and back to the cold black down below. To us, that would be a huge victory, because at that point, we wouldn't have to worry about putting any more fire on the ground, or certainly into Ramsey Canyon, and would take care of the threat on this side of the mountain. So cross your fingers. That's tomorrow night. we'll be reporting back on how viable that plan is. Okay? And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Tarina. Hopefully I've explained, the plan for the next 72 hours and how important, this particular action is going to be. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. From the Sheriff's Office, Chief Deputy Rothrock.
Good evening, folks. Hello? There we go. Is it ever Miller time around here? Beginning to wonder. As usual, I've got a combination of good news and bad news about things, and the first piece of bad news is the rumor mill is going to have to find some new fodder. I'm very happy to report that, we opened a huge area that had been evacuated yesterday at 6 p.m. And as of 6 o'clock this morning, we have received no reports of any burglaries or looting having occurred in that area. Okay, moving on. Highway 92 remains closed for through traffic from Ramsey and 92 down to the Coronado Memorial Road. There is a checkpoint at 3 Canyons. Anyone traveling north on 92 coming up from south in Palominas will not be able to pass 3 Canyons, and anybody coming south down 92 to 3 Canyons will be turned around. We're trying to minimize traffic on that road. We have opened up Miller Canyon, Vista Grande, and the Dead Bear Draw area for people to access that area. We are asking them to come in from the east on Hereford Road and use the side roads through the Circle S Ranch Estates area, which will get you to Highway 92, and then you'll have to cross Highway 92 into the Miller Canyon, Vista Grande, Dead Bear Draw area. We would ask everyone to be very cognizant that there's still a lot of heavy fire equipment moving up and down that highway, and you need to be careful when you're crossing the road. For the areas south, we have now, as of 6 o'clock this evening, opened up Stump Canyon, Baumkirchner Road, and Turkey Track area. Access to those areas are by permit only. You can obtain a permit at the Palominas Fire Station on Highway 92 next to the Ferrell Gas facility. We will be issuing permits tomorrow from noon to 9 p.m. at the fire station. So again, we're asking people that are in those affected areas to stop by there and get your permit. You don't need permits further north. Okay, you're aware of the mandatory evacuation from Ramsey north to Kachina. And we've asked the area from Kachina to Buffalo Soldier Trail, this is all on the west of Highway 92, to be under alert and aware that there may be air quality issues, etc. We have a map that's down here and up on the screen showing the areas that are under pre-evacuation. The majority of that is essentially the Mosen Road area. The area south of Ramsey Road on the east side of 92 is open with the exception of some roads there around Hereford Road, the Nixville area, etc., where we've got some fire damage. And I believe that's about it, folks. So I'll be available after the meeting to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Thank you. And we have a new guest with us tonight. I'd like to welcome First Lieutenant Jarrett Berman, the platoon leader from the 860th MP Company.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd just like to say at this time that the 860th MP out of Tucson has arrived on the ground. We currently have 43 soldiers who have begun operations in support of the local sheriff's office. We are expecting to double that number sometime tomorrow afternoon. We will continue doing 24-hour operations, again, in support of the sheriff's office, whatever tasks they might need us to do to help out the local situation. As of this time, I'm glad I'm here. My soldiers are happy to be here, and we are happy to be assisting in any way we can. And we will continue to do so as long as we are needed.
Thank you. From the City of Sierra Vista, Mayor Rick Mueller.
Thank you, Trina. Oh, am I on?
I think you're on now.
Am I on now? There we go. Thank you, Trina. Last night I started by thanking the incident team, and of course, as you would know, I forgot to mention one critical community component that is helping out through this whole crisis, and that is, in fact, the Sierra Vista Unified School District. So I want to thank the board, and I also want to thank Mr. Rick Klein and his crew that have basically operated this facility for us tonight, the shelter here, as well as the shelter Apache. They're doing a great job, so thanks, Rick. The city is doing everything we can to assist the Cochise County Sheriff's Office in getting information out regarding the evacuation and evacuation changes. You notice the map up here. We created a map today to help residents decipher the areas open and new evacuations, which are now posted on the city's website as well as others. We also use the city's reverse 911 system to make the new notifications. We will continue to offer whatever assistance is needed to the sheriff and the incident command during this event. The city's police and fire departments strongly recommend that those residents in the pre-evacuation area that is north of Kachina and west of State Route 92 who think they may experience respiratory difficulties due to controlled burns tonight and tomorrow might voluntarily evacuate. With resources stretched as a result of responding to the fire event, we don't want residents to be in a situation where they have to wait for emergency medical services should someone go into respiratory distress. So let's please be proactive. The shelter operation has transitioned to the Red Cross. The city is currently in the cleanup operation at the Apache Middle School to be able to turn that back over to our school board. And the operations have been consolidated at Buena High School. The city will continue to provide support to the Red Cross. A shuttle van began today to run from Buena to take evacuees to the library and back so they can access the city's 30-plus computers. 10 of those are up from the state library board that they offered. And they can also get newspapers, magazines, books, etc. Today the feeding operation was taken over by the Salvation Army, so we also owe a big thanks to Captain Bob and his wife, Captain Karen, for their support. Donations continue to pour in from a very generous community. The city keeps an updated list of things that are needed on our website, so please check it before dropping items off. Be patient with our website. I reported yesterday that the website had a 2,000% increase. The technical difficulties have been corrected, and you should be able to access that again. If you have your pencil, it's at www.sierravistaaz.gov, or you can just Google Sierra Vista AZ, and we should be the first one that comes up. The Joint Information Center continues to operate between 1,200 to 1,400 calls daily. It operates from 7 a.m. to 10 every night. In addition, the Information Drop-Off Center is set up in the library lobby and is open during regular business hours for the library, which are 10 to 7 on Wednesday and Thursday, 10 to 5 on Friday this week, and we'll publish hours as changes in hours as we continue. The 800 number for the Joint Information Center, I'll give you in a minute. The 800 number below, and the drop-in center have detailed information on evacuations as well as the information and phone numbers for all kinds of resources needed by evacuees. So if you got your pencil out, please call 1-800-288-3861. Again, 1-800-288-3861. And I also want to thank Shay Sauceda from the Congresswoman Giffords office. She's been instrumental in getting VA people in to work with veterans that may need services, as well as Social Security Administration. And the Arizona Department of Emergency Services has been here, and they will continue to show a presence, and they are right now in the mode of identifying needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Go to the agency administrators from the Forest Service. Kevin Martin.
Good evening. One of the first things I thought I would do is just talk a little bit about when the IC and the teams looking at the landscape and the tactics that they're going to look at. They look at the priorities that are out there, and the priorities are human life and safety, firefighter and public safety. Number two would be private property, and then resource values come third. I talked a little bit last night about the suppression rehab. Folks that are getting in will probably also be seeing and hearing equipment in those areas that the fire is out in, and we're starting to have equipment in there doing some restoration work. They're looking at fixing drainages, fixing fences, putting drainage into fire lines, those sorts of things. That's the first stage of restoration activities. We've ordered a BEAR team. That's a Burned Area Emergency Rehab Team. The federal government has an acronym for everything. Those folks are going to show up on Thursday and start taking a look at the landscape also. And what they do is they come in and they look at the entire fire and the effects of those fires, and then they look at the vegetation, they look at the soils, flooding potential, and do some emergency stabilization. And they'll work closely with the counties and the other partners that are with us out there. I thought I'd also give you kind of an update on a couple other fires that are occurring on the Coronado National Forest. The El Camino fire, which is 618 acres. Estimated containment's tomorrow, so there is hope. The Horseshoe 2 fire, which you guys have been seeing for quite a long time to the east, it's 223,214 acres, and its estimated containment is also tomorrow. So there's there is good news out there, and it is going to end someday. On the forest, we've had 49 fires for a total of 347,280 acres to date. Thank you.
Colonel Faulkner from the fort.
Yes, just was explained, we're going to be a big part of supporting this catcher's mitt and to ensure the soldiers, civilians and their families are safe and protect as much of that structure. We requested, we're supporting also, we've got our good 860th MPs, the National Guard. We're going to support the life support of those soldiers that are coming here. And we also, with the airfield, we have increased as much flight ops as we can out of there, and we'll sustain that as long as needed, as well as DPS agents and stuff that are also supporting the bigger effort here, and we'll continue that as well. We have another MP platoon coming from Fort Bliss, Texas. Their advanced team is on the ground, and we also have a fire company coming out of Fort Carson, Colorado, that will also be on the ground here shortly to support part of this catcher's mitt. We also, the big thing that we're doing on post, if you see a soldier, he probably has a shovel, rake, shovel, in his hand. We are making multiple fire breaks around the Huachuca Mountains at this time, and that is to ensure that we can protect as much of that structure and the families that live there as well. And we'll continue to do that, and we've been pretty successful in a lot of the fire breaks we've been able to do. We continue to prepare and ensure that we are ready for any call for evacuations if we are called upon. And we will also continue our support of all these firefighters, and I'd just like to thank them right now for all the effort they're trying to do in putting this fire out.
Thank you, Colonel. SSVEC, Jack Blair.
A couple of quick updates. I think most of you have seen the map before. We have our service territory that's been affected by the fire, divided up into 28 different areas. Recall Saturday we were at 17, and due to the fire on Sunday we went all the way up to 28. To give you an idea, we made a significant amount of progress in restoring power. Yesterday when I reported, we only had 6 of the 28 areas with power restored. We now have 14 restored but no power, and recall that could be due to a couple of reasons, because it's not safe to energize the line yet, or because something upstream is broken. We had 9, now we're down to 4. Under assessment, which means we are in the process of determining what we need to do to bring that back on power. Yesterday we had 9, today we only have 2. Repaired and partially energized, we had 2 and we have 3. And under construction yesterday we only had 2 and now we have 5. We also have a couple of very quick updates to the sheet that you have in front of you. Number 19 was energized, repair complete, and has no power. Now the eastern portion of area 19 has power. And if you look down at number 28, that was under construction. The good news is it's under construction, and some of that has also been energized, so that's the good news. Also, just before we came in here, the area of Brown Canyon from Mecate to Richards Road has lost power. So that's the 2 latest updates. In the back, if Ron Orozco will raise his hand back here. Ron is our chief engineer. So Ron, along with his department, and our linemen are the ones that are responsible, and literally Ron's been working 16 to 18 hours a day, our linemen out in the field 12 to 14, but they have literally put the plans together to get all of this energized, and I think we all owe a big round of applause to Ron. Thank you. And one last thing, if you have any specific questions, we have a larger, more detailed map in the back, so please don't mob Ron all at the same time. But when we finish here, we'll be available, and we can probably get into a little more specifics if anyone has anything. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. And finally, from the Red Cross, Craig Brailsford.
Yeah, just a couple of quick announcements. One, the Apache Middle School shelter has been merged into the one here at the high school, increasing the capacity, bed capacity here to approximately 500. We also still have the overflow shelter at Bisbee High School ready and available for people that may have that need tonight or tomorrow night, and their capacity's at 100. And as mentioned earlier, Cochise College has provided us another 50 beds that are available if need be. As the mayor indicated, the Salvation Army has done a wonderful job of putting together the hot meals 3 times a day here for our overnight guests at 8, 12, and 5. And the other real quick item would be the fact that tomorrow we need to start the Red Cross Family Assistance Service that we've talked about for the last couple of nights. This emergency assistance, it'll follow the verification of the loss by the Sheriff's Office, and our Red Cross teams will join with the Sheriff's Office personnel to start the disaster assessment of these sites tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Also tomorrow, the Red Cross staff will initiate calling folks who have registered as the loss to set appointments for starting with Thursday, going into Friday and beyond. But that'll all take place tomorrow. Those interviews will start on Thursday. They will be held here in the high school library, And if you have not registered a loss, please make sure that you do so. And again, keep in mind that that would need to be done here at the high school Red Cross table out in the lobby. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. So that concludes our formal presentation here. So if you do